Well, let's move on to other news now. And cracks are emerging between Israel and its longtime ally, the US. The rifts between the two sides are becoming more prominent, with Washington making its strongest public criticism of Israel's conduct in Gaza. The US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, says Israel lacks credible plan to protect some 1.4 million civilians in Rafah. He warns that the Israeli attack in the southern city of Gaza can create an insurgency by failing to kill all Hamas militants.
Israel's on the trajectory potentially to inherit an insurgency with many armed Hamas left, or if it leaves, a vacuum filled by chaos, filled by anarchy, and probably refilled by Hamas.
And Blinken also confirmed Biden's decision to put on hold any weapons transfer to Israel. The interview was dominated by Biden's decision to pause a shipment of bombs to Israel and a State Department report that Israel's use of US-supplied arms may have broken international law. Now, according to reports, to discuss the ceasefire efforts and the humanitarian aid access in Gaza, the Turkish intelligence chief engaged in talks with the Hamas officials, including Ismail Haniyeh in Doha. The Turkish president has also slammed the US and Europe for not doing enough to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza. He believes there isn't enough pressure on Israel to make them agree to a truce, which Hamas has accepted earlier. This comes as Turkey has time and again denounced Israel's attacks on Gaza. Ankara has also decided to join South Africa's initiative to have Israel tried for war crimes, along with Egypt, who has announced its intention to formally support South Africa's case at the International Court of Justice. Now, despite pressure from several nations and alarm expressed by residents and humanitarian groups, Israel continues to proceed with its incursion into Rafah. As thousands of Gazans take refuge in Deir al-Balah, the displaced civilians are setting up in tents settlements in the town, including along the Mediterranean seashore. The health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza has said that the besieged Palestinian territory's health system is hours away from collapse due to the lack of necessary fuel to operate generators in hospitals, ambulances, and for vehicles to transport staff. It says fighting has blocked fuel shipments through key crossings. And on the battlefield, an Israeli airstrike in Sabra neighborhood of Gaza City has killed a senior member of the Palestinian militant group, the Democratic Front. They've also sent tanks into eastern Jabalia in the northern Gaza Strip after a night of heavy aerial and ground bombardment. On the other hand, the militant group Hezbollah has unveiled a new heavy rocket. Hezbollah says the rocket targeted several Israeli positions at Mount Dov. And while on the humanitarian side, Israel has opened new aid crossings into Gaza in coordination with the US. According to the idea of the crossing is called Western Erez. It has been opened in the northern Gaza Strip in order to transfer humanitarian aid. And for the very latest on this, our correspondent Jody Cohen has more.
Right, so following Blinken's comments, US Ambassador to Israel Jack Lew denied that US-Israel relations have changed and said that the Biden administration has said that only one set of munitions would be held back if Israel would carry out a major ground offensive in populated areas of Rafah. Now, Israel has said it's carrying out targeted operations against Hamas, evacuating civilians beforehand, coordinating with international organizations, and has opened a new aid crossing in Western Erez to facilitate more aid going into Gaza. Now, the understanding in Israel is that the Biden administration is being mindful of far-left voters with the US elections coming up. An official has said that coordination between the US and Israel is perhaps at the highest level it's ever been. Blinken also suggested that Israel needs a strategy for a post-war Gaza, and that's to ensure that Hamas can't govern there again. Netanyahu's plan is reportedly for a coalition of Arab countries to support Palestinian leaders and business people with no ties to terror to govern Gaza. Israel has said that no one will come forward to run Gaza if they think they'll get a bullet in the head from Hamas, so the plan can only be achieved once Hamas is no longer a threat.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.